This is a white 1978 BMW 530i with BMW Motorsports racing stripes. The 5 Series, which is being produced today in its 7th generation, began production in 1972 and helped kickstart BMW's reputation as the ultimate driving machine by combining luxury and sporty driving. It has a 3-liter inline-6 engine, great handling, and an interior that was ahead of its time. My guests today are Sherry and Carrie. Sherry and Carrie are world-renowned urban designers, best known for their redesign of beautiful downtown Toppenish, Washington. Sherry and Carrie are also experts on the City Beautiful movement, Daniel Burnham, and eclectic architectural style. This afternoon, they're going to show me around Brown's Addition in Spokane, Washington. And I'm Barry Feinseld, and this is Urban Designers in Cars Getting Coffee. Well, Sherry and Carrie, it's great to meet you.
You as well?
I'm so excited to check out Brown's Addition, so should we go?
Let's go.
All right.
Woo!
Do it. So this is Brown's Addition.
It sure is, Barry.
Why is it called that?
Well, in 1878, John J. Brown moved to Spokane from Portland with his family. Him and A.M. Cannon purchased 120 acres of land. They divided it up, and as the city grew, it became an attractive destination.
In fact, Brown and Cannon donated this land for Coeur d'Alene Park. In 1893, the land between here and the bluff was platted to create what was known as Brown's Second Addition.
Fascinating. Well, let's go take a look a little bit more around the neighborhood.
Sounds
Sure.
good.
Now, this is quite an incredible house. What can you tell me about it?
Patrick Patsy Clark immigrated to the U.S. in 1850 and soon moved west for mining. He purchased the War Eagle mine in Idaho and later sold it to investors for $750,000. Clark settled in Spokane in 1889 when he commissioned renowned architect Kirtland Cutter to build him a home. Clark told Cutter to spare at no expense in the construction of his home. Cutter finished the home in 1898, 9 years after Clark commissioned the home. The Clark Mansion stands as one of the most extravagant homes in the entire Northwest. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it looks amazing. What about this house?
This house with its wraparound porch was built for Lemuel and Caro Rosewood of Spokane Mattress and Upholstering Company. Another occupant, Charles D. Bibbins, was co-owner of the Owl, a club for gamblers at Main and Howard. The house has free classic Queen Anne styling with an irregular hip roof, 2-story tower with conical roof, boxed eaves, and round porch columns.
Rosewood? You sure they didn't make guitars instead of mattresses? And it's for sale. Now this is a shame. What a hideous apartment complex in the middle of such a beautiful historic neighborhood.
You're right, Barry, but actually, the William H. Cowles estate once stood on this bluff. The shingled residence was designed by Kirtland Cutter, and the grounds included a tennis court and a ski hill. William H. Cowles Jr. occupied it until his death in 1971, and then the estate was demolished. And the current complex is known as The Ridge.
Well, Sherry and Carrie, are you up for some coffee?
Yeah!
So tell me about the City Beautiful movement. I hear you're an expert.
I'm not sure I'm an expert, but I know a thing or two. As early as 1890, a majority of New Yorkers lived in tenements, and Daniel Burnham, the chief propagator, believed that moral order of the village should be replicated in the city. With the population increasing due to the population drift of the 19th century, the city architecture had to create a sense of calmness with bright white buildings, sightlines, civic duty, symmetry, and to morally correct the behavior of the impoverished. Although creating an inviting city center would not bring the upper class back to live, but they surely would come back to work and shop. The pride of the city was restored with elegant axle avenues, white streets, grand plazas, and usually Beaux Arts style. The movement also sought to maintain the importance of civic buildings in an era of increasing commercial development, which manifested itself in ever taller skyscrapers that overshadowed the previously dominant civic and religious properties. Increasingly enough, the techniques of the City Beautiful movement spread and were replicated over 75 civic improvement societies.
So tell me more about this Daniel Burnham character.
Yeah, in his early years, Daniel was encouraged by writer and architect Longfellow to become an architect, but Daniel failed the entrance exam. So he became a miner and moved to Nevada. So while he was a miner, he was a draftsman for William LeBron Jenney. And upon returning to Chicago, he started an architectural firm, Burnham and Root. Burnham and Root designed many of the first buildings in Chicago that could be considered skyscrapers, and also set an innovative model for modern architecture of that time. After John Root's sudden death in 1981, Daniel Burnham became the most interested in parks and city planning. As director of the World's Columbian Exposition in 1893 held in Chicago, Burnham and other famous architects at the time built the White City, which was the influence by neoclassical architecture, which started the City Beautiful movement. So they're linked together in that. Burnham's interest in urban planning was centered around the built environment's ability to transform the city's inhabitants. And in 1901, as chairman of the Senate Park Commission, Burnham, along with Frederick Law Olmsted Jr., sought to re-envision and enlarge the Pierre L'Enfant's original plan for Washington, D.C.
So did Daniel Burnham have any influence in Spokane?
Absolutely. He designed the old National Bank building downtown Spokane, and the Olmsteds, who were part of the Chicago expedition, like I just mentioned, created parks plan for Spokane. And I've got one more house to show you that I think exemplifies the whole City Beautiful movement.
Great, can't wait to see it.
All right.
Let's go. Well, this house is gorgeous.
Now, Barry, note how beautiful this house is. Note the two-story portico supported by the massive columns, the swan's neck pediments over the windows, and the matching carriage house. The house became a multi-family dwelling in 1927, but it's clear from the white facade and classical revival architecture that the design of this house was definitely influenced by Daniel Burnham and the City Beautiful movement.
So it all comes full circle.
It sure does, Barry. From Chicago to DC to Spokane, even a beautiful Browns edition, it all comes full circle. The City Beautiful movement had a definite influence on cities all over the world.
Well, on that note, I think we need something a little stronger than coffee. How about a beer?
Sounds great. Spokane.
I have a shorter line.
Sight lines. Crap, I lost my spot.